It's Thursday, December 16th, and this is now on HNN. Good afternoon, I'm Dylan Ancheta with Mark Carpenter in the HNN Digital Center. We start with some breaking news. A Coast Guard search by air and sea is now underway after a medical transport plane crashed off of Maui.
It happened around 9:30 last night as the aircraft was making its way from Kahului to Waimea on the Big Island. NTSB investigators are now on the way. And just moments ago, Governor Josh Green issued an emergency proclamation related to the incident. This allows for the state to call in out-of-state relief and support to help with medical transport services. The governor will be holding a news conference to address this at 12:30 at the state capitol. Let's send it over to Casey Lunn, who has the details and an update from the Coast Guard as the search is underway.
Aloha and good afternoon from Honolulu Harbor. Behind me here, U.S. Coast Guard station at Sand Island. That's where many of these resources are based out of that are involved in this search and rescue mission, including those fast response cutters, those smaller boats that were out patrolling those waters. Now, I was able to get some new information this morning from the United States Coast Guard. I talked to Lieutenant Commander Andrew Williams. He's coordinating the search and rescue effort. He says that at some point overnight, an aircraft did spot a sheen down on the water, and a patrol boat was able to recover some aircraft debris, but they are not certain that that is from this missing airplane.
So it does correlate with the last known position of the plane, but we can't for certain say that it's from the same aircraft. We have recovered that, and we will we'll pass that on to the people who make those decisions. But right now we're focusing our efforts on the search, and we have software that takes the weather, currents, and winds, and provides us a drift model of the most likely location that we'll find survivors or wreckage and stuff from the aircraft. So we're focused on that right now. And with daylight, we should be able to learn a lot more as to where we need to focus our search efforts moving forward.
I've talked to pilots who say they have a relatively good safety record. The Coast Guard, again, reporting that sheen and the debris being found, but they haven't confirmed that it is from this aircraft. And here's what we know about the actual plane itself. It's a statement that we got overnight from the company that operates that life flight aircraft. Global Medical Response can confirm that one of our Hawaii life flight emergency fixed-wing airplanes based out of Maui went off radar while en route to pick up a patient in Waimea on the Big Island. This happened just before 9:30 last night. The Coast Guard says they lost radar contact at about 5,000 feet altitude and about 15 nautical miles off of Maui. We're told that there were 3 crew members on board, but no patients. The company is currently reaching out to the families of the missing crew. Hawaii Life Flight has also paused its transport flights as that search continues. According to their website, the company has been operating in Hawaii since 2010. Let's talk more about that ongoing search. The Coast Guard focusing in the area between Maui and Hawaii Island, also known as the Alenuihaha Channel. It's unclear what caused the plane to go missing, but this channel is known for being treacherous for both boats and aircrafts because of the strong winds and choppy ocean conditions. Today, the Coast Guard tells me that at least this morning they had some favorable weather conditions. They hope with the sunlight out that will help them in their search, and they are still holding out hope that those 3 crew members will be found alive. Reporting at Honolulu Harbor, I'm Casey Lunn. For now, we'll send things back to you.
A father and son were in serious but stable condition following a single-engine plane crash near Kauai's Lihue Airport yesterday. Authorities said the Beechcraft BE-77 went down around 12:10 p.m. Multiple agencies responded, including Kauai police and firefighters. Upon arrival, officials said the 2 already crawled out from the wreckage. Witnesses said the plane came down shortly after takeoff. The 2 people on board were treated on scene and taken to Wilcox Hospital. The Federal Aviation Administration was alerted and is investigating along with the NTSB. The U.S. Geological Survey said a 4.0 magnitude earthquake was reported in waters about 20 miles south of Hana this morning. It happened just after 6:45 in the Alenuihaha Channel between Maui and Hawaii Island. That's according to the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. The quake was too weak to produce any tsunami.
Well, this morning, the safe viewing area for the Mauna Loa eruption is shut down. Mayor Mitch Roth says about 30,000 vehicles have used the old Saddle Road site since December 1st. The Gilkahele recreational area will remain open for viewing 24 hours a day. Now, the eruption has stopped, but state officers will be patrolling closed areas to keep people away from lava field hazards. We're told several people have already been cited for trespassing in the past week.
A humanitarian crisis is unfolding on the southern U.S. border, where each day for the past week, about 2,500 migrants have crossed the Rio Grande near El Paso, Texas, seeking asylum.
Authorities are scrambling to seek shelter as temperatures at night are dipping below freezing. Nicole D'Antonio reports.
The long line at this border crossing outside El Paso, Texas, gets longer every day, with people from Ecuador, Colombia, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Many say they're fleeing persecution and poverty. This family traveled 20 days from Ecuador, where they say a criminal gang extorted them and threatened to harm their young daughter. She says she's looking forward to a future of study and work. Several times a day, Border Patrol opens up the gates to let dozens of migrants in to be processed. Each day, about 1,600 are released into El Paso, where shelters and hotels are full. Many are sleeping on the streets in freezing temperatures and relying on the kindness of volunteers like Sandra Grace Martinez.
My biggest concern for them is not to die out here in the street.
This is the situation under Title 42, a policy enacted under President Trump to expel and deport immigrants before they can claim asylum due to COVID concerns. Next week, that policy is set to expire, and El Paso officials expect the number of migrants seeking asylum will double. Congressional officials tell CBS News that negotiations on a bipartisan compromise on U.S. immigration and border policy failed to gain enough support to pass by the end of this year. 19 Republican-led states have asked appeals courts to delay the termination of Title 42.
We have a crisis on the southern border. They can't deny it.
The Department of Homeland Security has released a 6-point plan for when Title 42 is lifted, including sending more resources to the border, stricter consequences for unlawful entry, and increasing efficiency in processing those who enter. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
Let's bring in now our HNN chief investigative reporter, Lynn Kawano, to tell us more about her ongoing series inside Saguaro Prison. Lynn, thank you so much for joining me here today. We saw a little bit about Saguaro, and we want to talk more about the story that will be airing right after this segment. It's focusing on the Makahiki celebration. Now, that is happening thousands of miles away from Hawaii. What was it like for you to fly there and witness that?
It was incredible, Dylan. It was like nothing I've ever really thought I would see in a prison for sure, right? In the middle of the desert. It was a lot more just organized and well put together than I expected. You know, you expect in prison, you don't have a lot of resources. You don't have a lot of options when it comes to these performances, but they really did a great job with what they had. And these prisoners are given time to practice. They're given the instruments they need. They even have fresh flowers flown in. They made tea leaves while they were there. This is all something that the things that they do in their free time while they're in prison, but it also counts as credit for their jobs and for some of the programs that they have to accomplish while they're there. It's really a great way to get them to stay busy and to learn to work together. You know, they say that fights dropped when they are able to work together again. You know, they had COVID for 2.5 years. They weren't able to do any of this. So they were really appreciative that they could get together again and do a performance like this.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. But also, this sounds like a very a big investment on their part to fly in all of these things. And so that happens there in Arizona, but nothing like that happens here, right? Why is that?
They do have halaus in prison at Halawa. Obviously, our jails, they're not there for very long. You know, most of them are pretrial detainees or they have short sentences. But when it comes to Halawa and they have longer sentences, they do have halaus, but no program like this that I've ever heard of. You know, this is such an investment. And the one thing about Saguaro, the way it's set up, you can have more of these. It's bigger. There's no overcrowding. The land is enormous out there, right? It's just desert. You could build forever. And they have a lot of rec yards. They have a lot of options to get together, to use the space. And we just don't have that kind of space out here. So it is an investment for them, but they are very willing to do it. A lot of them are learning the Hawaiian language, Olelo Hawaii. They're learning to speak, and they're also learning all of these dances. Some of them had only been doing it for a few months when we went up there, and others had been doing it for decades.
Yeah, all about cultivating that culture, it sounds like. Give us a little preview of, you have one more story in your series about the Greyhound Rehab Program. Talk a little bit about that.
That's just such a cool, sweet story. You don't have a lot of cool, sweet stories when it comes to prison, but this one really is. Greyhounds, these are retired racing greyhounds. So all they know how to do is to chase a rabbit. That's all they've been trained to do. But when they're retired from the track, they want to adopt. They want someone, the program wants someone to come and pick them up and take them home and love them. And the prisoners are kind of the go-between. They actually train these dogs to be pets. They train them to be affectionate, and they train them to learn when it's time to eat, when it's time to go to sleep, when it's time to hang out and just be a dog, a friend, a best friend. And they are able to do that as a job. This is their job. You have to have a job when you're in prison. And these lucky men who are chosen for the program are able to do it. Some of them, they're all from Hawaii. Some of them have been doing it for more than 20 years.
Wow, that's some innovative thinking when it comes to jobs behind bars. Again, that story on the Greyhound Rehab is airing on Saturday. But first, I want to play for you folks a story about the makahiki that we were just talking about.
As the sun rises, the ancient Hawaiian practice begins. But this makahiki celebration is taking place in near freezing temperatures, surrounded by barbed wire on a rec yard, often used for pickup basketball. The men participating, prisoners, serving their time in the Saguaro Correctional Center in Arizona. Makahiki was seen as a sacred time in ancient Hawaii, marking the start of the rainy season and a 4-month period of peace and prosperity. At Saguaro, prisoners work to honor the traditions, staying as true to form as possible, given the security restrictions.
It's our connection back to back home. Yeah, we get sent up to the mainland, and unless you're getting paroled or you max out, you're pretty much stuck up here. Yeah, so why not take advantage of the opportunity that this administration give us? They allow us to practice our religion, our culture, our hula. That is our lifeline back to the island, back home.
Saguaro is home to nearly 1,000 prisoners from Hawaii, all with lengthy sentences. 75 were allowed to participate in this service that took months of planning and cooperation from the administration.
But it was a way for the population to be able to stay connected to their culture, to their family, to their ancestry. To reduce recidivism, we got to keep them connected to their culture and to their family. That's their best opportunity.
To be honest, at times it is hard, but having the brothers here in the halau, it brings me joy, because when I'm down, they come and pick me up, and vice versa. When they're down, I try and help them.
Eric Vance serves as a prison kumu. He has been teaching others the traditions and language for 20 years in various facilities, even before Saguaro was built.
We need to pass it and teach this younger generation so we can keep our culture continuing.
The last makahiki program was in November of 2019. Because of the pandemic, this is the first time they've all been together for a celebration like this in 3 years. Learning and practicing ancient traditions count as credit for the prisoners while giving them a sense of native pride. And the administration says the camaraderie means less conflict inside as they work toward common goal. At Saguaro Correctional Center in Eloy, Arizona, I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
14 Big Island cattle ranchers and farmers are suing the Parker Ranch over last year's massive wildfire, which turned their once lush pasture lands and farms into a dust bowl. The July 2021 blaze scorched over 40,000 acres, and the Hawaii County Fire Department says it was caused by sparks from a saw used to cut a fence post at the ranch. Homesteaders allege not only did the contractor start the fire, but the ranch could have taken steps to ensure the fire didn't spread.
Our income, our place for put cattle, our family tradition, all gone. Nobody knew, but we went through up there and we built that place.
We believe that Parker Ranch was either too little or too late in their efforts. They just didn't do what needed to be done to prevent it from spreading.
Attorneys Jim Bickerton and Bridget Morgan said Parker Ranch and its contractor didn't have an adequate water supply to douse the initial flames, which they said is required by law. They also said the Big Island landowner could have dug trenches or ditches to stop the fire from spreading. Parker Ranch did not respond to Hawaii News Now's request for comment.
While in the eyes of many, the effects from the COVID-19 pandemic may be winding down. However, infections are still out there. The White House is once again offering free at-home COVID tests to deal with a winter surge. CBS's Jared Hill has more.
After a 3-month pause, the Biden administration is back with its free COVID test delivery program. Go to covidtests.gov and get 4 kits per household sent right to your door.
We preserved the tests so we could have them on hand for exactly this moment.
It's a moment where 90% of the nation is seeing a COVID surge. Cases up nearly 50% in just 1 week, according to the latest CDC numbers. COVID deaths are up nearly 62%.
The good news is this virus does not have the same impact on our lives that it did 2 years ago, or even what it did last year.
Dr. Ashish Jha, the Biden administration's COVID coordinator, chalks that up to more treatments, tests, and more people being vaccinated. But according to the CDC, only about 15% of adults have gotten the most recent bivalent booster. Denise San Miguel, whose sister just got COVID, is one.
I haven't been around her, but I was just scared that I don't want to get it.
The push to vaccinate comes as the nation fends off a so-called tridemic: COVID, the flu, and RSV sweeping the country, pushing hospitals to their limits.
We're not mandating that you do it, but I'm telling you right now, it is a great idea to mask on transit and to mask indoors.
Though on at least one front, a silver lining.
There's still places that have very high levels of RSV. But nationally, there's no question in my mind, RSV is heading down.
But doctors say the peak for COVID could still be a few weeks away. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
One of our digital content producers, Emily Cristobal, recently sat down with our partners at Honolulu Civil Beat to have a conversation about the evolution of Christmas trees in Hawaii. Instead of the usual pine, they are trying to push forward a native tree. Let's take a listen in on their conversation.
So this new effort came from Rick Barboza. His nursery is based in Kaneohe. So he wanted to introduce a native alternative called Aloha. And so Aloha, he actually wanted something that grew vertically similar, but also he didn't like the idea of having a dead tree in his house because there's no point of keeping a tree that you're eventually going to throw away. Not only that, it doesn't shed as much as like the Norfolk pine. I know this is fake, but it doesn't shed as much. But also what's cool about it is you can also kind of like, just like a regular tree, you can like snip it a little bit to kind of make it more visually appealing. But because it grew similarly and the branches are thick enough to hang ornaments, he was like, this is the one.
All right, welcome back. Let's give you a live look outside right now. The skyline, gorgeous, but there is some cloud cover. This picture could be looking very different over the next several hours as fronts are expected to move in. Could be a wet and rainy weekend. Let's get the full forecast from Guy Hagi.
Computer models were pretty accurate in predicting this front that's come in and brought some wet weather. By this afternoon, we'll see that front start to weaken and start to pull away, although still a little damp through tonight. And then tomorrow, most of the rain will favor the east end of the state. And then Saturday night, another front approaches, starts to have some prefrontal showers out there. So by Sunday morning, we'll see some widespread rainfall, likely lingering through the day. Sunday, Monday looks to be the day with the wettest conditions, maybe some heavy rain for the east end of the state as well. And then by Monday night, things start to clear out. So there's the timeline for that second front coming in. So your 7-day forecast says get ready for more rain. Today, scattered showers out there, maybe some heavy downpours, perhaps a few thunderstorms still, and slow clearing tonight. Tomorrow's going to be a much better day. And then that front moves in sometime Saturday night into Sunday. Scattered showers, cloudy skies, strong southwesterly winds Sunday and Monday. And then on Tuesday, things start to dry up again. So take those umbrellas, get them ready for the weekend.
The world's largest freestanding cylindrical aquarium in Berlin burst on Friday. The mayor says about 264,000 gallons of water leaked from the Aquadome aquarium. A flood of water and debris rushed on into a nearby street, which had to be shut down. 2 people were hurt by splintered glass. Now, authorities have not addressed the fate of the some 1,500 exotic fish that were inside. The 46-foot tall aquarium is located in the foyer of a Radisson Collection hotel. Company officials said guests were relocated and the hotel was closed. A fire official said the cause is under investigation. All right, it's time for some good news now. Mark, this next story is a talker. You remember The Dress,
yes,
right?
Of
From
course.
a few years ago.
Great, very visual, but also very controversial.
Yes, well, here is The Dress, but Aloha shirt style version. So, Mark, right off the bat, what colors do you see there?
Easily orange and white.
Orange
Hands
and
down.
white. Okay.
Yes.
See, so I posted this on my social media over the past weekend, and clearly people are seeing different things. I see a light blue and black, kind of darker colors. Most people saw white and gold. Long story short, I texted my sister this picture and I asked her to reference one, and I said the blue and black, and she says, "What do you mean?" And so, of course, this stirred up a lot of controversy, and rightfully so. We went to ask our H&N Ohana what they saw. So Mahelani, tell me, what colors do you see here?
Oh, I see brownish gold,
Brown, white, and orange.
That's blue.
Hands down, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's blue.
That's white, brown, gold. Absolutely, 100%.
Are you certain?
I'm 100% certain.
What colors do you see, Bryce?
Brown and white. Tan and white.
I see brown and white. I'm seeing like copper and like slightly an aqua.
Aqua? So that's blue.
Yeah, blue-ish.
Thank you.
Oh, all day. It's like a brownish copper white.
What do you think about people who are seeing white?
I think they're wrong. I see blue. It's 100% blue.
What do you think about people who are seeing teal, blue, and dark colors?
Well, they're wrong.
Some very opinionated people in our H&N Ohana. Once again, that picture right there, tweet us, Instagram us, let us know what you see. But Mark, do you want to know what the actual color of this shirt is?
Yeah, that's fine because it is burnt orange and white.
Stop it. Blue and black. The actual shirt is blue and black. Of course, this is a print from Manaola, and it is, I believe it's called their Aloha on the Green shirt design, which there's no green, but that's the name of it here. And so this is the shirt, everyone. For the record, for everyone seeing white, tan, lighter colors, it is blue and black. And so this has kind of been messing with people's eyes. People on social media last week were messaging me, and it's just such a fun thing to play around with, honestly.
Look
and
at
of
what
course,
you started.
As a reminder, this was The Dress. I see blue and black. Mark, what do you see?
That is white and gold.
It's blue and black, but that's okay. We ain't gonna fight today. One more really quick congratulations. Mark, take it away.
Oh, yes. What an amazing story. We want to end the week on this note. Explain why Ash is not here on set. Meet baby Maverick. He was born Saturday night, 6 pounds, 13 ounces, 20 inches. Quick labor, about 7 hours or so. Both she and baby are healthy and at home. So congratulations to Ash and Haku. Just amazing and a wonderful name and a glorious head of hair.
Congratulations, guys. That wraps it up for us. Catch Mark back at 4 o'clock on KHNL. Aloha.